Hey everyone, welcome back to our series on 8A certification. So now you're approved, you're actually 8A certified. Now what? I'm Michelle Brown, Federal Certifications and Contracting Programs with FedBiz Exchange and FedBiz Now. So in this video, I will tell you all about what happens once you're certified, once you're approved, and you're in the 8A certification program. In the 8A certification program, these are the things that are going to happen to you from the very beginning. They're kind of basic things, but you'll get assigned a case number, and that case number, of course, will be throughout your entire tenure of being in the 8A program, which is for 9 years, as we discussed in the other video. So you're assigned that number, but you're also assigned a what we call a BOS, a Business Opportunity Specialist. And then also your firm is sent a letter congratulating you on your 8A approval. Your BOS is responsible you from the day you get in until the day you get out. And by the way, your business opportunity specialist is the person that is basically going to guide you and help you. They're looking out for your well-being in the program. And I have some of my own personal thoughts from experience about BOSs, and I'll discuss their role with you, what they should do, and the different interactions that a lot of 8A companies have all over the country. A lot of these things really are subjective to the situations, the district, the state you're in, even though there is a handbook. And when I say handbook, I don't literally mean a handbook, but there are regulations for how things are supposed to be done. So I will educate you on those things as well. But your BOS is supposed to be responsible for your success in the 8A program. And I'll talk to you about their roles, their responsibilities, and how your district is supposed to help you as well. You'll also be in a group with other 8A firms. Your BOS doesn't just manage you. They manage lots of other 8A firms, which can be good and it can be very bad. And I'll talk to you about why. But you need to know these things. I mean, you're an entrepreneur. You need to realize it's not always going to be as simple as everything is about you. You have to make everything about you. You have to depend on yourself. You're the only champion for you, the only real champion for you. So do not become dependent on your BOS. You will fail if you depend on any person other than yourself once you get in the 8A program. And you'll be disappointed, and then you will feel as though you have nowhere to turn and you'll get frustrated. So I want to tell you right from the beginning, I'll always tell you the truth. So go into this program depending on yourself, being your own champion, and doing what you did in the entrepreneurial world. You will find your way. All you have to do is be focused and motivated and be committed to what you want. So the firm will receive assistance from the SBA in general, but let's just talk about where a lot of your training and development is supposed to come from. So first of all, your BOS, which is your Business Opportunity Specialist, will make sure that you're getting the training and development that you're supposed to get. But again, you cannot depend on them for your development totally. You're responsible for your own development in the end. And when I say that, I mean learning how to play the game, learning the things that you need to learn. Sure, your BOS should be able to tell you, but they won't always be able to tell you. Let's just be honest. And some BOSs don't have the greatest reputations. There are some that are famous and do really well. There are only a couple of those that I personally know of. I'm sure there are a lot more, but just understand that your BOS is a resource, period. They're just a resource. They also work with SBA partners, and I'll tell you who those partners are. But the SBA partners are to help you develop. If you need training on finance, accounting, bookkeeping, how to get loans, things like that, these SBA partners are put in place to help you with those types of things. So SBA partners would be SCORE. Most people know what SCORE is. It's generally speaking a group of retired men, and I'm sure there are women in the SCORE program, but I've never met any. But when my husband and I owned businesses years ago, I was introduced to SCORE, and a great group of people. I'm sure it's very different now, but I did not get out of them what I needed. Most of them are retired executives, and there's a difference between a retired executive and an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are just different. Um, my mentor when I was in corporate America was an executive, a very successful executive. I learned a lot from him from the business perspective and how to think about a lot of things financially, vision, growth, development. But I did not learn the entrepreneurial part of it. He could not connect with that. He was used to getting into an organization and running that organization and building it from what was already there. He was not used to creating things. There's a difference. So remember that. You are a person, if you are a true entrepreneur, you're used to creating things. You're used to creating and making money from nothing. You have ideas and you have drive that most people will not have. You've created it yourself. That's an entrepreneur. P-tax, same thing. Some P-tax are great. I've had some good experiences with P-tax in other states, but not in my state. It's been okay. You know, most of the time I know more than P-tax can teach me. And I know I've been in the business a long time, but you know, if the government is paying other agencies to help us, we should be able to get that help. When my husband and I did have our own business, I always felt like the people that I was being sent to knew less than I did. And I was in my late 20s building a business doing something that people had never done before. So it's very frustrating sometimes, but I learned how to figure it out. My training and education was not dependent on other people. I went to find it. I went to find it, and I went to make things happen by reading books, by getting on the internet, and the internet wasn't even as great and as powerful as it is now. Now you can learn things from everywhere. Look at where you're learning right now. You're learning from me. You don't know me. You've never met me, most of you, and you can learn from anywhere. So use these as resources. So some of our PTACs are wonderful and they have very knowledgeable people, but a lot of them don't. I needed to learn about DLA, some contracting issues that we were having with DLA, Defense Logistics, and no one could tell me. Even some of the people within the agency. Certainly none of the SBA people could tell me, but I figured it out. But why do I have to do that? Because that's just life. That's the way it is. So you need to be ready for those things. If you get what you need, it's wonderful. So when I find people that can truly help me in the system, I praise them and I let their bosses know that they know what they're doing because it's so hard to find. But use these sources to the best of your ability. And if you've listened to my other videos or you've ever been in my trainings, you know that I tell you, learn what to use people for. Don't waste a lot of time trying to get things out of people that they just don't have in them. And you will hear me say that a lot more because you can waste so much time waiting on people to help you. Sometimes you just have to feel like, I got to go find these answers. I don't have time to wait for these people. And that's how you need to be when you get in the 8A program. SBDC. SBDC, that's a good organization too, just like the other two, but again, it depends on the experience within the organization. These are agencies that are dependent upon government dollars or state dollars, and so they're put in place to help you, but not all of them have the experience to help you. And my experience has always been that I know more than the people that I'm supposed to be going to help me. So you need to realize where you are when you get in this program. And when I say that, if you're a person that you need a lot of knowledge because you feel like you're really behind in learning about the federal market, then you better keep your eyes peeled and you better go and find education and training. And I'm doing this because nobody talks about what goes on inside the 8A program. Nobody does. People will talk about getting in it, but nobody tells you what really happens in the 8A program. And I'm going to tell you what's going on inside the program before you get in there. But SBDC is Small Business Development Centers. They're all over the country. Again, they're another one that's contracted with the federal government and the state government to help small businesses. But a lot of these people have never been entrepreneurs. They don't understand you. They don't know what you think, how you feel, none of that. But they will teach you and help you with what they know how to do, which in some cases may be very little. So I don't want to, make it sound like I don't trust any of these organizations, because I do. I trust them to do what they can do, what they have the ability to do. But if I'm past that, then I don't need them. If you get in this program and you're past that, then just bypass them. Use them for what you need to use them for. If they have a management class that you think is interesting, take the class and keep on moving. That's how you have to think of this. And the same way with your BOS. If your BOS can help you with certain things, take what he got or take what she has and use it to the best of your ability, and then keep it moving. Because if you wait for people, you will waste your 9 years. You will waste millions and millions of dollars. So, most important, please note, you are responsible for your own success in the 8A program. And by the way, your peers won't tell you either, because everyone, for some reason, thinks that they're in competition with each other, and we're not. And when I say we, I'm talking about small businesses. I cannot tell you how many small businesses I've encouraged to work together, and it works very well. Some are very focused and like the idea, but most always see the other as competition, even when they're not in the same industry. We have to stop that. It doesn't get any of us anywhere. Very well-to-do billionaire companies do not do that. They don't do that. They buy each other, or they work together, or they do partnerships, because they're not afraid to make more money. They're not afraid to become powerful, and that's how we have to think. So the assistance provided to your firm through the 8A also includes training assistance in the following areas. So that would be developing and maintaining a business plan. Now, the business plan is not your regular business plan. I just want to say this. First of all, I know that a lot of people start businesses without a business plan. I started my first business with a business plan because I was a stay-at-home mom, and I don't even know how I knew to do a business plan, but I knew to do one. And so it brought my vision to fruition. I mean, everything that I planned in that business happened, but it didn't happen the way that I thought that it did. You do need to have some level of a plan. You really do. You should have had a commercial business plan before you decide to get into federal contracting, but you don't have to. But number one, developing and maintaining a business plan is not about the plan that you should have done before you got to federal contracting. It's about an 8A business plan. They're going to want you to develop a business plan that is about how you're going to be successful in the 8A certification program. And I will probably do a free video on that as well. But you have to do that business plan, and that's your BOS's responsibility. And they'll help you get that done, because that's one of their major accomplishments, even though to me, I'm not saying business plans don't mean anything. They do. But a lot of times people have you put fluff stuff in a business plan, and it's not realistic, or it hasn't been thought through. So I can teach you how to do a business plan on real stuff within a few minutes. But when I say a few minutes, I don't literally mean in a few minutes, but I mean, I guess I should say in a couple of days, by actually doing things that are going to help you actually win contracts. I can tell you right now, the stuff that they're going to want you to put in there, most of it is going to be fluff stuff. But I can teach you or tell you what the real stuff should be, so you can use and take that action plan and actually start winning federal contracts. And that's what you need. But you have to do this business plan, and the BOS has to help you. Number two, management practices. They'll talk to you or give you advice or try to train you on management practices. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. If you need it, fine. If you don't, fine. Some of the classes and some of the training might be mandatory. A lot of it is not. But regardless, use what you can. If you don't need it and you already feel like you have that under control, that's wonderful. Financial support and business loans. They can lead you to some areas of financial support, and that would just be the one area, which would be banking uh, partners that they use to help you get an SBA loan. And I can tell you that's a long process. You'd be better off getting your own line of credit if you can, um, and or some other type of financing. And don't listen to SBA people or anybody tell you everything else out there is shady, because it's not. You can get some very solid financial support even if your credit is not perfect, even if you just need a line of credit to carry you. There are business people, real business companies, that's all they do is provide financial support to companies like yours, especially if you have a federal contract. People love that stuff, but the banks don't, because they don't get it. Bankers are also not business people. They're just bankers. So don't listen to anybody try to tell you there's nothing but shady stuff out there. And don't listen to anybody tell you there's nothing but high interest rates out there. Okay, maybe you might have to get a line of credit that the interest rate might be a little bit more than 4%. But the federal government pays you fairly quickly. You can pay that right back within 30 days or less. You can learn how to manage your interest rates and manage your money so that you are not paying a lot of money in that way. But don't let small thinking people stop you from getting what you need, because if you get $1 million contract and you have some things to do, you will need money to do that. You don't want to use your own, whether you have it or not. You don't want to use your own. You want to use someone else's money. And trust me, there are people out there willing to give it to you so that you can get to those double-digit millions. So don't listen to other people. I know the kinds of things that people in the system say. I've been invited to speak to SBA groups, lots of groups before, with government, and they don't think like we do. So be careful what you listen to. Number 4, accounting and bookkeeping. If you're doing your own, that's great. Just make sure you're good at doing it and you have it on a regular basis. But if you're not good at this, please get someone else to do it for you. You can start out with a bookkeeping person and then get a CPA later. Because if you're planning to make millions, you're going to need to up your financial support and your financial management and your financial education. So, I mean, if your company is used to making, $500,000 and you start making $2 million a year, that's a big difference. You want to know where your money is going, who's managing it, how things are flowing, how much are you paying for personnel, how much are you paying for equipment, and you want an accounting person that talks to you about your business. One of the things I don't like about CPAs is that they don't help you, not all of them, they don't help you figure out how to grow your business with your money. So just think about that. Keep that in the back of your mind, but don't wait until you get to the double-digit millions before you get the perfect help. Marketing. Now, they're going to talk to you about marketing, and they're going to tell you all this stuff you should be doing to market to federal contracting officers. I have a whole series on that, and I talked to you about that too, but I'm going to tell you, your best marketing in this program, an 8A certification, or any federal contracting program, is for you to be bidding. If you have to make a choice between sending out letters, spending time to send out your capability statement, finding a list of contracting officers, I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying you will get in front of a contracting officer much faster with marketing by bidding. Meaning, to me, bidding is marketing, because you don't have a lot of competition when you're bidding. You might have 5 other businesses that are bidding against you. That's it. You might even have 2, and you may be the only one. And people don't know that because it seems almost impossible in the federal market. But the bottom line is, we don't have a lot of competition in the small business arena because small businesses don't know what to do. They keep listening to, SBA people, which is not a bad thing because the SBA people will tell you what's available. They just don't know how to use a lot of the resources, and they've never had to do any of this, most of them. So they don't know what it feels like to bid. Now, we do have some contracting officers that come to the other side of the table where they are BOS supervisors, BOS directors, and I'll be honest with you, I know some of them and they don't do a good job either because they don't even use their power to help you figure out if they've been a contracting officer, how come you can't tell me what works? Because they've never had to do it and because they're only thinking from one direction. So you could probably ask them questions and you figure it out yourself, but they don't use their power. So my point about number 5 is marketing. The most important thing is to bid. Don't listen to people telling you, well, if you slap a few backs and shake a few hands and show up at all these meetings. I do teach you that too, but I also tell you which meetings to go to, like a pre-bid meeting or capabilities briefing. In a pre-bid meeting, you're going to meet contracting officers and program managers. In a regular industry day with no specific direction, you might meet some people there, but they're not going to be decision makers and it's not going to be about a project. Your goal when it comes to marketing should be to bid so that your company can get in front of these contracting officers. And if you send them a communication about something they need to buy, a decision that they need to make on a project, guess what? They're going to talk to you. If you're just sending them a capability statement, they're not going to pay any attention to you. They don't have time. They have 5 things, 10 things, 20 things they need to buy. And they have 100 or more people sending them capability statements. So when do you think they're going to pay attention to something that you send? When you send them something about something that they need to buy, about a solicitation. So that's how that works. That's what you need to understand. Nobody is going to tell you that. Not because they don't want you to win, they just don't know. One hand doesn't know what the other's doing, and even if they did, everybody acts like they're scared of these contracting officers. I talk to them all the time. So, and I talk to them because I talk to them about what they want to talk about, not sending them a capability statement. I learned a long time ago they don't even care. They only care about your capabilities when they need something from you. And so you need to respond to their bid. It's as simple as that. Number 6, bonding if you need it. That's another thing. You should start learning and searching around for bonding if you need it. I'm not saying the SBA can't help you because they do have a bonding program. It's just very difficult. It takes a long time. If you need more bonding, you need to up your bonding. You're in the 8A program, you better get busy. And bonding, getting bonding is like getting a loan. It means that the bonding company, the insurance company, has to trust you and your capabilities. And you're going to go through some stuff. So while you're getting in the program, if you have bonding already, if you're in construction, you're a GC, you probably have it already. If you have another type of company that needs bonding, you probably have it already, but you're going to need to go up to 5 or 6 million, probably even 10. So get busy with finding that and do your own homework. Don't wait around. Don't listen to these people. And some people, some of our BOSs and some of our district offices are more familiar with some industries better than others. Like a lot of them know construction, but they may not know engineering. They may not know contracting. Excuse me, they may not know architectural engineering or architecture, but they know construction. They may not know printing. They may not know office supplies. They may not know a lot of different types of business. They may not know energy. So it is up to you. If you need bonding, you need to go find it. You need to get started. You need to engage a few bonding companies. And it is a very, it's an intense process to me. We don't use them as much anymore, but when we would set up our 8As, we had a bonding partner, and I could probably still reach out to them if someone needed a referral, but he was really very good to us, and a lot of our companies were just starting out, but he was able to get them bonding right away. So it's about the package with bonding. Number 7, evaluation of 8A successes and failures. So you'll probably have group meetings and discussions about that. If I were you, if I were ever in a group meeting with my BOS and he or she is talking about a lot of different things, I would ask questions inside the group. The reason I say that you should do that is because you you get more out of a situation and you see how people respond around you. If someone is getting contracts, ask them in the meeting, how did you get that contract? Did you have it before you got in? Or did you get it while you were in the 8A program? Did someone here help you get that? I know that's a bold question. You may not want to ask it like that, but I'm a bold person and I learned a long time ago. Do I irritate people? Of course I do. Do I care? Of course I don't. When I need to be more sympathetic or show more empathy or be a little more polite, I know how to do that too. But there are times where you need to speak up for yourself. And being in this 8A program, that's one of those times. And if you're not getting what you need, it will be your own fault because these people, I am telling you, they will only give you what you ask for. And I'll tell you why it's that way as we go through the training. So your BOS's responsibility, this is where I can explain some of these things to you. They have other 8A participants besides you. So all of their participants, all the firms in the program under that BOS, they have to assist everyone with their business plan. Now, everybody that is in your group didn't just get in. Some of them may have already have been there, but a lot of them could be new. So he or she is not just helping you with the business plan. They have to help everybody. And so you need to get this done because you have to have this done within a certain amount of time. But they'll also conduct group and individual sessions. You may just get one individual orientation session with this BOS. And to be honest with you, take it for what it's worth. Get out of it what you can. You'll probably have more group settings and more group meetings than you will individual sessions because sometimes they could have 100 people or more, which is not good, but that's just the way it is. And so if you think you're going to get a lot of individual attention, if you do, that's great, but if you think you're going to get that, it's not likely and it's not realistic. So just keep that in mind, and please don't be offended by that because remember what I said. Get out of that person what you can get out of them. You will probably do more for yourself than they could ever do for you. Just remember that. Ensure you complete your business plan within 30 days. That's what your BOS is supposed to do. And that can be a challenge. But I got to tell you something. Until you complete that business plan, you cannot get any 8A contracts. That's a requirement. They're supposed to track your firm's progress in the 8A program. I have people that I meet in my classes all over this country that have been in 8A for 5 years and never got anything because nobody's tracking their progress and because they didn't know they could speak up and because they didn't know what their BOS was supposed to do for them. That's why I'm doing this, because I really want our small businesses to get more of these dollars that the federal government is trying to give us. And I don't mean give us, I mean award us. If you guys don't go and get this money, then it's just going to go to the big guys. But you have to be part of your own success. You have to be the biggest part. And if I had to do a percentage, I would say you have to be 80% of your own success in this program specifically. So you track your own progress. If your BOS is tracking, good. If they're not, well, I already told you. You weren't supposed to expect that anyway. Just don't expect people to do things. When you get something that you didn't expect, that's like icing on the cake. It just takes you to the next highest level. They're supposed to conduct site visits, meaning they should visit you at least once. Does everybody get a visit? I think they do it most of the time. I've heard, and I know a lot of 8A companies that come to my classes or just that call me, and most of them have had their first site visit, but I mean, it really kind of doesn't matter. To me, it wouldn't even matter if they never came to my facility. I'd rather they spend their time trying to figure out how they're going to help me get contracts while I'm in this program. Provide assistance and provide advice and counsel on prime contracting. That's where you're probably going to need a lot of their help. So use them for what's important. Don't worry about that they didn't come and see your business. I noticed that so many businesses, because we're used to this in commercial, get so hung up on like the marketing side, trying to present themselves to contracting officers and program managers. And I hate to tell you, but it doesn't matter. It matters a little bit, and yes, I teach you to do it, but I teach you when you should do it. Getting in front of these people, including your BOS, yeah, I guess it could motivate them a little bit if they saw what a beautiful setup you have, how many great employees you have. I guess that's good, but nobody's going to be your own champion the way that you are. And they might just be motivated for a minute. Never expect other people to be motivated and excited about what you are doing or what you've accomplished. They may come there and think to themselves, you're in over your head. They may come there and think, well, you know what, this is nice and everything, but I don't think this 8A is ready. You don't need to involve them in too much. You just need them to do the work for you at helping you get your 8A contracts. And providing advice and counsel on prime contracting is what they should be good at. Spending your time, worrying about, are they, really involved in your business plan? Are they really coming to visit you? All of that stuff is not important. Would you like it if they get you in front of a contracting officer? That would be amazing. That would be great. But most of them never do that. They never do that. I've heard in 13 years of only 2 BOSs taking their 8A firms around on the federal basis, to the bases and actually introducing them to contracting officers. In 14 years, I've heard of that twice. Now, I don't know every 8A there is, but I can guarantee you, most of the 8As I interview, and if I would talk to them, they never experienced anything like that. And the one person that it happened to, she was in her 5th year by the time she got a good BOS that helped her. So this program is amazing, and I'm going to do a video to show you guys how well a lot of our 8A companies are doing. But I'll tell you the types of 8A companies that they are within the next couple of slides, and the type of 8A company you're going to have to be. But you should be able to depend on your BOS for advice and counsel on prime contracting. And then they provide advice on marketing to the federal government. Again, I already harped on that. I already talked about that. Don't let anybody tell you you need to spend your time sending out a bunch of emails, or that you need to spend your time chasing contracting officers. You need to spend your time bidding, in that order. Bidding first, and then maybe sending out capability statements and things like that when and if you have time. Your BOS and your district office is the one that should be sending out your capability statements and helping you on the sideline making deals, and I'll talk to you about that as well. Provide advice on contract administration. That is an area where we all need help. I just won a contract for one of our clients, and I did this. I was more involved than normally I would be, but I did this because I try to practice what I preach, and it worked. Everything that I teach, I'd like to think that it does work. So sometimes I try it out myself. If it doesn't work, then I find out what do we need to do to tweak that process. That's how come I know bidding works more than marketing. I know that marketing works when it's appropriate. Marketing should be used in pre-bid meetings and things like that. But contract administration, that's not easy stuff to learn because you can't get quick answers on that. I actually won a contract for one of our clients. And was I excited? Boy, was I excited, because I haven't, had to do that in a long time. I couldn't even get basic answers to questions from Defense Logistics on contract administration. We wanted to sign the contract, have the CEO sign the contract and get it back. Couldn't even get answers on that because the contracting officer, it wasn't his issue, because otherwise I would have asked him, and I did ask him, but it wasn't him. The contract comes from a completely different place. We actually signed the PR, the order, and we agreed to, execute everything, but because it was a purchase order, it was a simplified acquisition. But there were some other things we needed to do, and even I didn't know the answers to those things. It's contract administration. I could not, I ended up finding out the answer, but I even called PTAC. They didn't even know what to do. So did I get discouraged? Of course, I was very frustrated. I don't have time for stuff like that, but it was a good lesson for me as an educator and as a supporter of small businesses to know what you guys go through. So I walked through the process on my own, and finally, after talking to a few people, PTAC couldn't help, the PCRs couldn't help, and I was so frustrated I had to be rude to at least 5 people to help people to understand. So when somebody wins, I mean, what do they do? Who's supposed to help them? Well, the contracting officer. The contracting officer did his part. This is a system administration thing. So just win. Once you win, you'll figure out the rest. And that's all we did. And did we figure out the rest? Of course we did, on our own. Nobody helped us. We just had to put the pieces together. And it's a very eerie feeling, but yet, because oh my God, we won this, but yet you have nobody to support you through this process because people don't know what they're doing or nobody cares. But that's not going to stop me from wanting you guys to win. It's not going to stop me from winning. It's not going to stop any action because I know that's how those big companies learned. They had regular people that went through the same thing. So as small businesses, you need to realize this is just the way it is. All you need to do is win. Once you win, make sure that your performance is good and make sure that you find out the answers. Because all you need to know is 1 or 2 answers. And the next time you know what to do. Thank you for joining me today. If you want to learn more about 8A certification and how to get 8A contracts, watch the next video. Please leave me your comments, subscribe, and let me know your questions.